Hey, Branson, how you doing?
Doing fine. How about yourself, sir?
All right. Not too bad. How's it going with your CPD?
It's going pretty good. We had a meeting last night. Echo. We had a meeting last night, talking about promotional items and stickers for doors of bodegas and dispensaries. I'm gonna have about 7 different products in my line. So,
Are you building a website for it?
no, they already have one, and it's going to be basically a jump off page off theirs, and it's going to have a link back to my Big Bougie website also. So
I got you.
but they're working on a catalog right now that's going to be distributed right here in the North Carolina area for retail and dispensaries and like gas stations to see the products, and they can order right there, and it takes them to a website. So
Cool. All right.
I'm their second. One they've done that with. The other guy they work with is Coolio. Do you remember the old rapper Coolio?
Yeah.
They work with Coolio also.
Huh.
They do all his herbal, because he cooks with cannabis, and they provided his herbal for his cannabis stuff.
Oh. Very interesting. Hey, Grant, how you doing today?
Doing good, Dennis. How are you?
I'm good. This will be interesting today to see if I can do this this whiteboard.
I have faith in you, Dennis. You got this.
We'll see. It's a little bit complex, but that's all right. Hey, Dawn, how are you?
Hey, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Where
Okay,
you going?
we're at the beach, but I did not want to miss this class because I know I had asked you for this. So I said, we're on the way to a water park. But I said, I'm gonna do this class because I asked for it and I need it.
Okay, well, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. I've been practicing. That the hard part is really kind of posting the post-its. You got to write down the post-it and then you got to put it somewhere, and that's a little bit awkward if you don't have a touchscreen computer. You got to use your mouse, and it's just well, we'll see. We'll give it a try.
It's worth a try.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. What we're going to do is we're going to watch a few minutes, about 5 minutes from the other day, where the guy's putting the post-its up and he's kind of explaining what's going on here. So it'll be a little bit of a refresher, hopefully. And so let's give it a shot here. Okay.
Okay, so Jack makes money. What Jack's customers experience immediately before they pay Jack money?
They want to buy Lego sets.
Okay, so they have some kind of need. So that probably happens kind of actually more kind of over here. Excitement. Excitement, okay. Maybe that's kind of around in here, let's say. Okay, what else? What happens right before Jack makes money?
They're convinced that they need to start their own gig to make money.
So they want to start a business?
They probably talk to Jack.
Okay. They actually end up, I'm going to modify that, because I did mention Jack's not your normal 11-year-old. He has a website that's pretty turnkey. So you go to Jack's website and sign up there. He takes money, takes Bitcoin, obviously.
Price.
Okay. So website price.
They realize that it's easy enough for them to do.
Okay.
They have to convince their parents to pay for it.
There you go. So maybe that's over here. I'll move this here. That was actually the answer I was trying to guide you toward, which is in order for Jack to get paid, somebody's got to put a credit card in. I'll give you a little hint here too, because
Okay, so let's see if we can do this now. All right, let's give this a shot. Okay, can you guys see the whiteboard?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, this is not the whiteboard I was going to share, but we'll hold on just one quick second. Sorry. I'm going to try to share this other one. Can you guys see this one?
No, not yet.
Okay. Huh.
Yes, can see that.
Now you can see it. Yay. All right. So what we're going to try to do here, you can go back to this video that we were just looking at, and you can get an idea of what's going on. I kind of pre-populated this a little bit with some of the things that Jack in the video does. But this particular exercise, and this can apply to different parts of your business, but what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about KPIs related to customers and customer journey. We're going to attempt to do that. So I started off here in the middle with the dollar signs, is kind of indicating what this is. And the first one in the video that you noticed of the class said is the customers need something from you. In this case, let's say we're using Dawn as an example with Sugared Spoon, just to put her on the spot since she's driving in her car. But need is an example. I'm going to add another one here, maybe. We'll see. And it will be want, right? So not just need, but want, which makes sense, right? So you got some people that might really need the spices. You have other people who might really want the spices. When they find your product, they may well get excited because it's something they've been looking for or something they really want. And the last thing I've got here kind of pre-populated is the customers have to find the website. They find the website, and that's going to be the direction that they're going to go to give you money. Basically, that's the concept here. So one other thing I'll add to this that might also make sense is social media, right? We could have social media here where they can find you also. And we probably could also add, we'll just add email and text, right? Can we think, anybody want to think about what other ways that people could find Sugared Spoon, using them as an example?
What about some sort of advertisement? Like if you did something, one of the specialty food things, and you did an ad through the TV or spotlight on a magazine or something.
Yep. So I'm going to call that paid advertising. because you would probably pay something for that. Anyone else?
How about word of mouth?
Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. Okay, word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth.
What about different events like
Sure.
just like the NC Festival or things like that? Just
Yep. We could do events. We're doing pretty good here. I'm impressed. What else can you think of?
just for the future, what about the live streaming sales, which could be social media, I guess.
Yeah, it could also be website.
Yeah. Okay.
So
What about somebody
about-
like a paid, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
What about like a paid food ambassador or paid influencer?
Okay. Oh, that's exactly what I'll call it. I'll put it down here with something paid influencers.
And what about the stores? Like if they see it in the stores?
What do you mean? Just people finding it because it's in a store? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, because that would, well, yeah, just curious.
Well, let's call that
Shopping. Oh,
or channel visibility.
yeah, there you go.
It's I got to use some kind of weird
No,
non-English word.
it sounds better.
Yeah, channel visibility. How about partners?
Yep.
Okay. And I think even beyond partners, I think I would add online marketplaces. Like you could be on Amazon or Walmart or whatever, right?
Right.
How about customer referrals?
Yeah, that's a good one.
What
is
about
kind of
like,
fun.
I'm sorry.
I say this is kind of fun.
What about like online directories, you know, like Got to BNC and stuff like that?
Yep. How about charities or like fundraiser type
yes.
events?
How
Okay.
about a membership type club where you
Well,
get,
I think that would be more in line of website, social media. I think that's just a
Okay.
style. I mean, unless you all think it should be a totally separate thing.
Like subscription that would fall under the website.
Yeah. A subscription would be a form. It's a digital channel. It's a form of buying from your website. That's the way I look
Okay.
at it anyway.
Okay.
okay,
Okay. So now let's think about what other kinds of stuff do we need to do before the customer gives us money, right? So one of them is certainly packaging, right?
Yes.
Well, before,
you got to make the product.
Okay, let's make it. So that would be let's just say make product. That's probably its own thing, but that's not necessarily a KPI, if you know what I mean. It could be, you could make your manufacturing process could have its own set of KPIs, right? Like consistency, temperature, and all that kind of stuff. So let's make that one. change that one and we'll make that one green and we'll kind of put that over here. Just so it's kind of a different thing, but so we got packaging.
Gotta ship
How
it.
about shipping? Yeah. Or we'll say, I guess that's really fulfillment. Right? Okay.
What about going back to making the product? You've got to source the components, and
Okay.
you might have a metric about what you pay when you get them. You know, something you might have a metric around it.
Well, you could certainly have a KPI that monitors your wholesale costs, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That could be an important thing here. I'm a little bit colorblind, so hopefully this will be green. Yay! All right. So we'll do wholesale costs. Okay. Okay. So you got, I guess everybody kind of gets the drift of what we're doing here, and you can basically create KPIs around any activity. But what I was trying to do here was just pick a simple one, which is what do you have to do to get ready to get money from customers, right? And so that's why it's so heavy on the blue versus the others. But we could keep going in this and many additional categories, but you see the idea behind it. I will just, one thing I'll point out, this MIRO is both an app and a website, and it is free for, kind of our level of use. If you want to have a whole team of people and all kinds of other things, then it starts to cost a little bit of money. But this tool is available. It works on your phone. It works on your computer. I know a lot of, I know Techstars uses it because they told me about it. I know a lot of accelerators use this tool, and there are others also, but this one is just one I was familiar with. So when we kind of go kind of a step further, let's just stick into the blue for right now. One of your KPIs could certainly be, is the website running? Is the website up? Right? So website performance, maybe. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But think of things that are really critical to doing the business, and what do we want to measure? What indicator do we want to measure? Is it traffic to the website? Is that a metric that we may want to, we could compare, when we're doing well versus when we're not? I'm sorry?
Yeah, I think traffic would be a definite to figure out where it's coming from.
I can't hear whoever that is in the background. I heard Dawn, but I'm not sure who else was talking there. Sorry.
It's everybody in Dawn's car because we stopped at a drive-thru and I'm trying to mute. Sorry. Sorry.
Get me an Egg McMuffin. I like those. Okay. All right.
On Egg McMuffin.
Yeah. So website traffic is certainly, and I would argue, maybe number of likes on social media or related, or if you are doing a live stream, how many people attend that. So basically, I'm going to put all that under traffic for purposes of this moment, if that makes sense to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If we think of anything else that Dawn should be looking at, as a key performance indicator or as an indicator of, and this is all focused at this moment, I'm focused on before the customer gives you money. That was what was in the video, and I'm not smart enough to apply it to other other KPIs. I'm sure I will once have a chance to think about it, but can you think of anything else here?
This is Sana. I would like to add, when we're talking about traffic to the websites, we want to be mindful of bounce rate. You guys might have heard of that. That basically tells you how many people actually end up on your website, which is the traffic that is actually coming. Bounce rate is how many drop off. So
Oh, wow.
yes, you can actually drive people to your website, but are you able to keep them, and for how long? So
Would you call that engagement?
I mean, bounce rate is a term. It basically means how many people bounced off of your website. Like they came, but
Gotcha.
then they left immediately. And it could be many reasons that you have to look at. It could be that your website didn't load fast enough. You know, even if it's like 2 seconds, that's too long for some people.
Okay.
So, you know, your technical stuff like that, website load time. Also, you know, what is the first thing that they saw when they landed on your website is, so if you're, for example, if they're coming in from an ad that's misleading, they think that they're going somewhere else, but then they end up on your website and it's showing them something that they didn't expect, they would bounce off immediately. So things like that. So that's one thing you should be mindful of.
Okay. Well, I would say this is my reaction to that. Thank you, Sana. That's good. I didn't know about that. You know, these are all things related to the website, right? So maybe it's more than one performance indicator related to the website. You know, maybe it is bounce rate, traffic, and probably other things on here that, you know, maybe partners could be added there if we're doing some of the things. But I think the point of all this is to try to map out the customer journey for you. And I think that customer journey is going to start in different places. And that's where the KPIs come in. So you can measure the performance of your web related activities. You can measure the performance of getting on the shelves with grocery stores or other, you know, physical retail. You can measure partnerships. How are the partnerships delivering? Are they worth the trouble? And part of this is to try to figure out, you know, I like to think of the chef with a bunch of pots and pans on the stove, and they're just moving that stuff all around the stove, trying to keep the stuff hot or get stuff hot or whatever. They're literally, you know, just trying to keep it going. And that's really what this is kind of about. Like, where is the heat? Where are the things that are working for you versus the things that maybe, even though you might be spending a lot of time on, it's not really worth it, because your key performance indicator can help you kind of work that out, and you can see. And this visual process, even though we may not have captured all the correct terminology, you can see where you could do this. It could be very single subject focused, where it's just the website, or it's just the social media, or you could peel off some of this stuff. The whole production side probably has to have its own KPIs. The whole packaging, shipment, fulfillment, all that. They're all different things, but I would argue that what they call before the funnel, the beginning of the funnel, or the filling of the funnel, is the most critical piece at the end of the day. If you don't have the customers, it doesn't matter how efficient you're making your product or you're packaging your product. All that stuff, I would argue, is tertiary to actually making sales on the front end.
So when you pick out a few of these KPIs, do you put it in a spreadsheet so you can kind of track it, or?
Sure. I think that a spreadsheet is the only thing that really makes sense. Although I guess you could just, depending on what you reduce the KPI to, like you might be able to just use your notepad, right? And put a date and say, okay, my number of visitors today was, 2,000 and et cetera. It just depends on how you want to deal with the data. In the idea of a KPI, and in many large corporations, and some of you probably have used these tools, often all this stuff is expressed as a dashboard. You'll hear the phrase KPI dashboard. And these are things that they can look at and get a real good idea what's going on without really digging into the detail. There can be a range, for example, of traffic to your website. As long as that graph indicates it's within that range, you don't really have to look at every single detail. So I think those of you who know how to put together a dashboard using Excel or some other tool, that I think that's a way. But whatever method you use, even just a notepad, a dated notepad, almost like a diary, you just have to be able to look at stuff and give you some idea of what's going on in a general sense, not necessarily highly detailed, analysis, but just, hey, how's it going? I know I knew a guy, he owned a Toyota dealership. This was years and years ago. And what he did is he put out kind of a big piece of paper. It was almost like a calendar size, and it just had lines on it. And basically everything that happened that day related to sales was supposed to be written down there. So the salesperson was supposed to come in there and say, 10 o'clock, met with Mr. and Mrs. Jones and sold him a Toyota Corolla or whatever. And he kept all that stuff. And I don't see how in the hell he made sense of it, but I think at the end of the day, he was looking for a certain volume of writing on that pad would give him an idea if things were going the way they should, or if he saw the number of names trailing off. That's just one example of a guy. This is in the 70s, a long, long time ago when I was still in college. So, there's different ways people do it. And you might ask peers, like in the especially food group or other groups you might have access to, ask them what they do. How do you keep track of metrics that you feel are important? And you might get all kinds of answers. And I don't know off the top of my head whether there is a KPI software package. There may well be, or a KPI dashboard tool. I wouldn't be surprised. But you'd have to connect it to data. Somehow it has to get data probably from a spreadsheet or somewhere else. And my guess is you could probably set up things like Shopify or other online tools might be able to give you data that can be used in a similar way. Also can be expressed in this form. So anyway, that's really about as far as I'm able to go today. But
No, this was good.
Yeah, it's MIRO is the website. And like I said, I think there's others. The thing about this particular one is it works with Zoom. So that's why I use it. I can share it, even though I struggled with that a little bit. Some of them are freestanding. You can't really put them on Zoom. Zoom, just so you know, and maybe it's true with some of the other, they sometimes have limitations on the software. Like, for example, which I did not realize, you cannot use Zoom with Apple AirPlay. So let's say you're using your iPad and you're projecting that to a larger screen somewhere. You cannot put that screen on Zoom. It just does not support AirPlay, which I learned the hard way. So there's a lot of little things like that you learn when you use these tools. But MIRO does have a free tier, which most of you can use. And I think once you play around and you kind of get the zeitgeist of it, the gist of it, what are they trying to do? They're trying to identify what some of you old timers like me might remember, a critical path, or some of those things that were used in manufacturing when I was taught in college. There was Gantt charts, there was critical path, there was probably a lot more terms that I've forgotten, but they were all attempts to do this same sort of thing, to try to visually give you a take on what is going on in that business, or some aspect of what they view as a critical part of the business. You could put a whole one up here for customer service, right? Customer, connecting. How do you deal with your customers? What's the critical path for measuring that? Happy customer. Maybe it's reviews, or maybe it's, complaints on email or whatever. So, all right, Dawn, well, drive safe, Dawn. I know Dawn's going to leave us. She's going to eat her breakfast and go to the beach, I think is what she's up to today. Good for her. But
I appreciate you doing this class.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So, all right, anybody got any other questions or complaints or anything you want to talk about in the class in general? We are going to start again July 25th, just so you know.
I'm coming back in.
Great. You're all welcome. I don't care if it's just you guys every time. It's fine with me. I don't care. I'd rather deal with people know what the hell they're doing, to tell you the truth.
I'll be back.
Good. All these folks that their first time is it's a real struggle. Let me tell you, I've worked with a lot of startups. I won't even call them startups. I'll call them ideas. And that is really painful. Oh, I mean, I like it, but at the same time, it's very frustrating. Can be.
And Dennis,
Got a bunch
I
of-
know I'm a repeat offender, and I thank you so much. I get something out of it every single time. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're so sweet. I'll pay you later. Thank you for saying that.
I agree with her. I get something each and every time.
Well, I try to keep it current. Let's see. All right. Everyone's thanking everybody on here. And oh, good. And Branson found something, how to use Google Sheets to make KPI dashboards. So that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, you can take the information that how it's up on a board, and you can really, if you watch that video, he'll show you how to basically set it up to use the months, the days to run through and make your KPIs and show you how your numbers is coming. And also I use Google Site Kit, and that allows me to take my numbers right from Google and put it in my KPI.
very cool. I was exposed at one time to a guy who had, this is a weird business, but he had 5 or 6 different franchises that he was like the managing guy for. So he had like 10 or 20 franchises in each of the 5 or 6. So he had this incredible organization with all these different businesses, and he ran them all by this graphical type interface. That's what he would do before things became trouble or difficult. He would use a dashboard to keep all that straight. And that business generated over $4 billion a year from all of those franchises. He had, I can't remember. I know he had some fast food in there and just crazy. So, all right. Well, it's been a pleasure, and hopefully you can tell your friends or associates about the class. I would like to see help some new people. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff in the fall with Jack Nails' help and some other things we're not going to reveal at this moment, but that we're going to work on to really give you guys some opportunities to make some sales, kind of like we did with that Rural Day last fall. Although that was kind of a cluster in some respects, but we did have some fun, and some people are still using that tool. So that makes me feel better about that whole thing. So anyone else got anything?
So the one that starts on the 25th, is that going to go into the fall, or will there be another one that starts in the fall?
Well, it's 10 weeks is what I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to get that down to 8 because I think 10's too long personally. But yeah, there'll be another one after that. And that
Okay,
one will
cool.
probably be, yeah, probably toward the end of October if I had to guess, something like that.
Okay.
Do we have to register for it, Dennis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to submit that to the bureaucracy to, show I'm doing something.
Okay, so just go to the website and fill out a form.
It's the same one, apply. It's if you go to acceleraterural.org, you'll see the apply here button on the upper right. Just click on that. And you've done it a million times. It's just a simple form.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, with that, hopefully we'll see you in the near future.
Bye. Thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah.
All right, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank